What's up, everybody? This is Mario, and I'm back with another episode of Talking Endurance and Mastery. And today, what I want to talk about is a surprising fact about habits that can help you build, stickier habits and build more consistent behavior. Now, I love habits. I've read almost every book that's out there on habits, and I still learn something new from this section. So I'm going to roll the trailer, and then we're going to get into it. Do you want to complete an endurance event and elevate all areas of your life, but you don't know where to start? Then you're in the right place. Talking Endurance and Mastery is a podcast to help you create a vision and take steps towards your goals and dreams. I'm your coach, Mario Minner. I've completed events like Ironmans and ultramarathons, but I believe the true benefit from endurance events is how they help you become the best version of yourself. Join me as I share stories, lessons, and interview guests to help you apply endurance and mastery principles into every area of your life. Are you ready? Let's go. All right. So the inspiration for this episode again comes from How to Change, which is a book which is written by Katie Milkman, and its kind of subtitle is The Science of Getting You from Where You Are to Where You Want to Go. And just like I've been talking about these past couple of episodes, the book talks about what are those obstacles to your success and how can you come up with a plan to overcome them. And the chapter that I'm going to be talking about, the main obstacle that the author was talking about was laziness, because laziness is something that impacts all of us, regardless of whatever goal you're going after. There's just going to be times where you maybe don't have the energy to pursue your goal. Maybe you're not feeling motivated to get your workout done. Maybe you're not feeling energetic enough to, take that next step that you decided on in your meeting at work, right? So laziness can impact all of us. So what is one of the best ways to defeat laziness? Well, it's really just to develop solid habits. And that way you perform actions almost automatically without having to consume all of that energy, without having to decide, are you going to work out or not? Well, it's best to just develop a habit of exercising so that you don't need to kind of waste that mental energy and that willpower making that decision every day. But the author kind of started to explore the best ways to develop habits to overcome laziness, but also not just how to develop the best habits in the short term, but how to produce sticky habits over time. And I think that this is something that I honestly haven't spent enough time thinking about, because it's one thing to just develop a habit and be as consistent as you can with that behavior, right away to get into the action. But I think it's also really important to think about over the long term, how can you be successful with it? And it's something that's got to be sustainable. And so the author and some of her PhD grad students did a number of studies on this. And what they did is they wanted to look at some important factors with habits and with behavior change. And what they did is they wanted to see, with something like exercise, is it more important when you're trying to develop a habit to work out consistently at the exact same time? Or is it more important to incorporate a little bit of flexibility in your habits and in your routines? Now, for me, if I were thinking about those two things, I would say the number one thing, if you're trying to develop an exercise habit, is to get your workouts done in the morning at a specific time before life gets in the way, before work gets in the way, before you have family activities or church activities or volunteer activities, whatever it is for you. I always try and get my workout done first thing in the morning so that I get it done, and it kind of gives me that energy and sets the tone for the rest of the day. So when I'm thinking about when I was reading this part of the book, and I thought it's got to be the consistent time, the specific time every single day that leads to the most success. But it was actually surprising the results that they had. So they looked at people who were exercising at a specific time every single day, and then they looked at other people who were encouraged to still work out, but to try and be a little bit flexible and do it in whatever time they could in that given day. And in the first month, what they found was that the people who were incentivized to work out at the specific time, the same specific time every single day, were more consistent. But after month one and going into month two, the individuals that were encouraged to have the more flexible schedule were the ones that were actually showing up to the gym more frequently. And this was really surprising for me because I just thought it's all about, show up consistently at the exact same time, get it done day after day, and eventually it just becomes a habit. But as they dug into the data and they started to talk to people, they realized that the people that were so rigid in their schedules, if they didn't get their workouts done at that specific time, they were less likely to get that workout in than the people who were kind of trying to build a habit, but do it in a little bit more of a flexible way, in a way that fit their schedule. They were more likely to get a workout done at any part of the day because they were trying to fit that into their schedule and they were trying to be more flexible with it. So it's actually one of those things where maybe in the short term, being really rigid with your exercise routine or with committing to your habits, you're likely going to have more success. But you also build the habit of if you don't get it done at that specific time, you're actually going to be less likely to get that workout done. And I think that this is really important because something like an endurance event, if it's a 5K, 10K, half marathon, or a marathon, the number one key to your success is going to be consistency. And, as I've been coaching different athletes, I really harp on consistency, and that's the most important thing. And rather than, skipping a workout, what I try and encourage is even if you can't get a full workout in, just do a shorter workout. Even if you can't get your workout in the morning, try and do a shorter workout in the morning or do a shorter workout over lunch, just still try and get your workout in. And so I think that this is just a really important concept. And it was one that honestly, that really surprised me. And so that's kind of like the big takeaway from today, where, when it comes to your goal and developing a habit, yes, consistency is good, but you also need to build in a little bit of flexibility and build in that flexibility of if you can't get your workout in at a specific time, that normal time that you always do, just try and get either a shorter workout in or try and be a little bit more flexible and find another way to complete that. And so the author went on to talk about how a lot of the focus is on habits, but really where the focus needs to be is on streaks. And by that, she means getting your workouts done day after day rather than getting them done at a specific point in time. So that's kind of the big idea and the big concept that I wanted to talk about today. Something that I'm learning from, again, the book How to Change. And, as I bring it back to you, just like I always do, I want you to think about, whatever goal that you have in mind. What's one area that you're trying to improve? Or what's one habit that you're trying to develop? Maybe it's exercise. Maybe it's meditation. Maybe it's using your phone less. I don't know what it is, but as you're thinking about developing that goal, I want you to think about not just trying to develop a consistent habit at a specific time, but I want you to think about flexibility with that habit. And I want you to think about streaks. So, how can you successfully complete a streak rather than just being so rigidly focused on getting it done at a specific point in time? So, that is what I have for today. If you found any sort of value in it, I would really appreciate a 5-star review in the podcast app or on iTunes. That would be extremely helpful for me. But also, just as it relates to habits, if you're somebody who wants to take on a big endurance goal, or you just want to build better, more consistent habits in your life, and you want a little bit of help or accountability with that, that's where I can help and that's where I can come in. And so I would love to coach you. I would love to help you become the best version of yourself. And so if that sounds interesting to you, go ahead and just send me a text, 608-770-3437, and we'll get in touch. And so that is what I have for today. Until next time, I'll talk to y'all later.